Okay, thanks for dealing with that. I know what you're thinking is, aren't I embarrassed about that? And I mean, listen, I've been shaped like a bowling pin my entire life, so it is what it is. But I will tell you that being overweight and shaped like a bowling pin, I definitely have to do something about that here pretty quick. So now I'm stuck here in the garage right now. It's actually raining. We really need the rain though, so that's awesome. Now I just want to say real quick, this video is mostly sponsored by Simplicity, which Simplicity is, I think they're owned by Briggs & Stratton. I don't know, there's kind of this hierarchy of all these companies that are under Basco. But I just want to say in this video, you're going to see me using a Simplicity Broadmoor 52-inch lawn tractor that was sent to me free by the folks at Basco, Briggs & Stratton. And I just want to tell you real quick, I know some of you don't like when I do sponsored stuff or whatever, but I would rather you look at it in a different light. Look at it like these companies are actually investing in us DIY YouTubers, us influencers. I don't really like that term. But one thing I want to tell you is 5 years ago, nobody cared. And so it's really good to see companies like Briggs & Stratton, like Simplicity, starting to realize, hey, we should invest in this community. And that's exactly what they're doing. You guys have seen the big project I did at the Freedom Factory. I had to get sponsors for that. I can't fund all of these things by myself. And I'm really appreciative of the companies that will invest in those projects. And I have even bigger projects on the horizon, believe it or not. And so I need to start making some partnerships. And one of the things I was able to accomplish at GIE this year was making some introductions and forming some partnerships with companies like Briggs & Stratton here in Simplicity. And they've been really good to my good buddy Jake too. You guys have seen he got a snapper snowblower this year. That's that same company, that's Basco. And they're gonna be working with him in the future too. And that's really what I wanted, was them to help him because he's got a growing business. And I was like, how can we help Jake grow his business? And so I just hope you guys will look at it that way. It also goes into the fact that I told you guys this year I wanted to start working with some equipment that was made for homeowners, but was made for homeowners with larger lawns. And I can't finance all of it, even though I have made some investments in some large equipment. The fact that these guys were willing to send me this is even better. It just allows me to expand that knowledge for you guys, and that way you can kind of go through and see what type of options are available out there to you at what price points. Now I can tell you that I wouldn't work with companies that I didn't believe in from the beginning. I mean, Briggs & Stratton is a name that's been around forever. Simplicity is really cool though, because I don't know, I kind of see it like a niche brand. I don't necessarily, you know, it's not known as well as like some of the other big, you know, John Deere, Toro. It just doesn't have that type of market share, I guess would be the right term. But I've always been impressed with Simplicity, mainly because they come in with built-in rollers, built-in strike kits, which you're gonna see how good it does on our St. Augustinegrass coming up here. But as I've used it, and now I've used it on my church property, I've got a buddy that has an acre, we used it out at his lawn, and then you'll see in today's video I used it out at the Freedom Factory. So I put a lot of hours on it already, and I can tell you that I really like it, and it cuts great. And it's a good unit. So that's really cool. The other thing is, last week I put it in my video, and you'll see a lot of folks down in the comments said that they've had Simplicity tractors or zero turns or their products for a long time, and they really love them as well. So folks in the community that have been using Simplicity for a long time are also backing up what I've come to know just in my short time using it. So with that, thanks for watching. Let's get right into the video. There's a lot of wind here, so I hope you can hear this okay. I'll talk a little louder, but I get to do two things today. The one is my most favorite thing, and the thing that I've been looking forward to most here is I get to enjoy the mow. That's right, I get to enjoy the mow at the Freedom Factory. Such a privilege for me. You guys know. That's just, I couldn't ask for anything better. So I'm gonna do that, and then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and spray it. I'm gonna put down some Green Start fertilizer, and then also Hydrotane. They sent me some moisture manager. You guys know what Hydrotane is? We really need that here, so I'm gonna be putting that down as well. So I'm gonna be here for several hours just enjoying some lawn care, and I can't wait. Got my Jimmy Buffett playlist ready. By the way, if you want a new playlist, I'll link it in the description below. All of my favorite Jimmy Buffett songs. You're not gonna find a lot of the more popular, well-known ones on there. You're gonna find some more of the deep tracks, the ones that really speak to those of us from the Gulf Coast. We ended up getting some rain, which is great. We're still really dry, But you can tell, I mean, some of the areas that when I was here last time, it's been a couple weeks since I've been here. I hope this wind is gonna be okay. It's been a couple weeks since I was last here, and there's some areas around the edges that were really struggling, and those are completely back now. So that's really good to see. Also, I'm seeing a lot of all kinds of weeds and junk growing in here already. This looks like nutsedge right here. For sure that's nutsedge. You can tell by that squared off blade there. We got something for that. But if you look, we're rooted so well now. Look at that. That is so good to see. So now we really just need some rain. And I don't know if this is the first cut or not. I think they cut it once last week, but maybe not. So either way, that's one of the reasons we put the Pro Vista in, because I don't have to care about the weeds at all. I have no concerns there at all. Okay, there you go. 5/8. 5/8 is what you want to remove these. Okay, so that was not the easiest thing in the world. I think it'll be easier the next time I do it though. But pretty sure I got everything back together. We'll see if it falls apart on me or not. Now, one of the unique selling propositions that they talk about with the Simplicity Broadmoor is how easy it is to take the deck off, to get underneath, to take off the blades for sharpening and things like that. I will tell you that it was not easy for me to take this off, but you have to realize this was my first time doing it, number one. And then secondly, I'm also on blacktop here, and it's not smooth. If you were doing this on your smooth garage floor that was flat, level, whatever term you want to use, it would be a lot easier. The other thing is, now that I've been through it one time, the second time, third time, fourth time, it will be much easier, much simpler for me to take it off just because I have experience with it. So always remember that. The first time you do something, even though people say it's easy, it's not always easy, at least for me. Now you guys know I'm like a monkey when it comes to this kind of stuff. I am not talented with tools and apparati and how they work and how everything functions. I don't know any of that stuff. So I will tell you that it wasn't super easy the first time, but now going forward, now that I have experience with it, it will be very easy. so I have about 12 hours on this machine now between using it at my church, using it at the Freedom Factory. I did try to get it on my lawn here at home, but it's too big for that. And that's what I want to say. This is a 52-inch deck, so anything smaller than 20,000 square feet, you might want to look at another model or something with a 42-inch deck or something like that. But over 20,000 square feet, this would be a good size for you. Now, it is a little small for 100,000 square feet, but I enjoy the mow, and that's what I wanted to get into. Super comfortable. At the Freedom Factory, even though it's been freshly graded and everything, there's still some areas between the sod that are a little bumpy. It'll bang you up a little bit. I had no problems there, very comfortable. I really like the seat on there. It's that mesh back like office chair. It definitely cuts down on the swamp ass, so that's always a positive. And then you kind of saw me using it on the hills and stuff. I don't think they probably want you to use it on hills that steep, but hey, I got to get up there and mow, and it worked great. Obviously, you can see it made stripes in the St. Augustine. I will tell you that those stripes will get much better. The sod is established and set in and rooted, but it's still a little crispy because we don't have a lot of rain. There is nothing that replaces rain. Once we start getting lightning, which we're getting today, that free nitrogen that comes down along with that nourishing rain will soften the grass up, and you'll see the St. Augustine will take a much better stripe going forward. But even with that roller created great stripes in the St. Augustine grass. Imagine what it will do with Kentucky bluegrass or tall fescue. And then finally, the most important thing, cut quality. Excellent. I ran it a little slow on purpose because I wanted the stripes to set in a little deeper, but there is a section on the other side of the track where I ran it wide open. No difference in cut quality, really. It cut really well. So cut quality gets a thumbs up from me, A+. And that's really the most important thing with any mower when it comes to me is, what is the cut quality? It's excellent. If you're looking for a riding tractor that cuts really well and you need a 52-inch deck, awesome. Another thing I want to point out is this thing will mow up to 6 inches tall. It's got the electric up and down, so that's really nice. But I mean, it goes super high up. So it's kind of cool though. You're not stuck with increments like in other mowers. You can kind of put it wherever you want. So if you need to adjust from one area of your lawn to another, just slightly up or down, you have that ability to do that. But again, the fact that it goes all the way up to 6 inches, and then I was cutting it way down at the sub 1 inch over at the church, and it did just fine over there as well. So again, I don't want to keep going through all the unique selling propositions and everything, but I just want to let you guys know for sure, this is a great unit. I really like it. And as you guys know, as I move forward with things, it's not like I just do one review like this. I always talk about my mowers going forward all the time. I'm always throwing tips out. Just like in the past few videos, I would throw a few tips out about this mower. So I know the other thing you guys are gonna ask is, where is the John Deere? It's right there. I've got to use it here at the house for a project I have coming up that's gonna require some scalping. And yes, eventually I will get down to comparing the two together. And that way you guys can see that if you're looking at comparing that. But it's gonna be a little while before I get to that because I don't have a way to get both of them around. Again, I need an area where I can take some time, go out, do them both together. Doing comparisons of lawnmowers, that takes a lot more effort, and it takes a lot more kind of setup and thought. So that will happen though eventually. And I will be doing a full review of the John Deere X350 for you guys at some point. Don't worry, I got tons of good content coming up, all aimed at you guys with bigger lawns. Not all of it, but a lot of it aimed at you guys with bigger lawns. So it is so windy out here, but I love the wind. But gotta take a break from the mowing. Gotta get a little water on this stuff. So let's do that next. Can't wait to see what it's gonna look like when the rainy season comes. Hey, what's up guys? So it's day 2 here at the Freedom Factory. Did all the mowing yesterday. Now you can't see the stripes because there's no sun, and I have to remind you guys of that. In order to see lawn stripes, the first thing you have to do is have some sort of a roller or something that presses the grass down one way versus another way, and that's how you see the stripes. Is the light source has to be behind you and it reflects off the grass a different way. But right now we have no light source. Everything is just grayed out, so therefore you can't see the stripes. Kind of not good news for me because I was going to use those to help guide me in my sprays today, but either way I was also going to set them in a little bit deeper so they'd show up. But the good news here, this is Florida and the sun always comes out, so at some point the sun is going to come out today. And so what I'm doing today is I'm applying some 901 Green Start just a small amount, get a little sea kelp in there, a little iron, a little bit of nitrogen, not going to push too hard, and then also some hydrotane, because even though they're doing a good job watering, I want to try to help them out with that. We got humidity in the air now. Hydrotane sucks the humidity out of the air, brings it right down into the soil by the roots. But there's two things I got to do. First of all is the hydrotane, I like to get it watered in immediately. So with that, I got to go fill the water truck so that I can do a section and then water it in. And then while the water truck is filling, I'm going to go ahead and do the weed whacking that I didn't get to do yesterday. By the way, if you're wondering, it took me 6.5 hours yesterday, but now that includes about 45 minutes to sharpen the blades on the mower, and then probably 40 minutes or so that I used the water truck twice. So I don't know, what is that? A good 4.5 hours of just straight mowing? Better watch that. I'm gonna get a content strike or whatever they call it and get my video claimed. All right, so that takes about 20 minutes there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do a little weed whack, and I'll try to put in some of this cool editing and all cool kids are doing. Ready? Here we go. Oh, hey, real quick. So the sun came out. That's beautiful. But I just wanted to say, I know that some of you are going to comment about them leaving the tires on the grass, and that's going to kill the grass. We actually had a discussion about that because those are obviously there for safety, and they were there from the Freedom 500. And so Garrett and I were talking about that, and I told him, I said, look, if those are going to be the permanent spots for those, if they're going to be there all the time, then it's fine to leave them there. In fact, that's probably better. Just let them, you know, work their way in. But he said, you know, the next race isn't going to be for quite a while. So like the next day after, they went ahead and removed those tires. So those will be gone now. That's fine. The grass will just grow back anywhere that it may have been damaged or may have died, because they were sitting there for a few days, but it'll come back. But I just want to let you know, because I know people will always comment about that. Those tires are being removed and the grass will recover and be just fine. Okay, now I'm not going to do a ton of filming on this because frankly, I'd like to enjoy this. I really actually enjoy riding around and spraying, and I need to pay attention. I don't want to stripe this place up. Even though we're not putting down a ton of nutrient, it needs to be right. So I've got hydrotane, and I've got more than this, but this is 9 ounces per 1,000 is here. I have 100,000 square feet, but I've broken it up into 25,000 square foot increments, which works out just perfect for me. So I'll need 9 times 25 equals 225. So I need 225 ounces for each fill of the hydrotane, and then the green start is going down at 6 ounces per 1,000, which is a very low rate, but I just want to get a little sea kelp in there, a little iron, you know, just a little boost. Don't want to push too hard. And so I'll need 150 ounces of this per fill. So 225 on the hydrotane, 150 on the green start, and then fill it with water. It's not ideal here because we don't have a lot of water, so I'm actually gonna have to put my concentrates in with this nearly empty and then go fill it with water. But again, usually you're supposed to fill it halfway with water first.
but I just can't do that. So because of the situation here, but that's okay because this has a rebreather, recirculator, whatever. It circulates. It'll agitate for me, so I'll be all good.
Now, a couple things with Hydratane. Yes, it works very well. Pulls moisture right out of the air, brings it down right by the root. I've been using it for a couple years now, both broadcast completely across my lawn, but also in localized dry spots. Some of you might ask if I could have put this into the water truck, and the answer is yes. A lot of highway departments actually do that. They'll apply Hydratane directly through their water truck, but since this is a rental, I didn't want to jeopardize their rental agreement, so I went ahead and sprayed it out through my 25-gallon AgriFab sprayer.